I'm Wally Cronky.
And we are your hosts for Good News, God's News, the headline show for KGCN, Kids and God's Communication Network.
We're glad you are tuned in today and want to give a warm KGCN welcome to our studio audience. This is the final broadcast of the Chatsworth Vacation Bible School. So once again, welcome everyone.
Wally, we are not only at the end of the week, but we are at the end of our series on God and communication. This week we learned that God calls, God shows, God writes, God cares, and God comforts. God is truly amazing.
Honey, you are so right. As we continue in this broadcast, we now turn to our affiliate, JAMA TV, for a recap of this week's activities. We thank them for allowing us to share in their programming. Stand by as we get the feed from our first correspondent, Dave Swirsky, with a sports report.
Thank you there, Wally. This is Dave Swirsky's Sports Watch, and I'm here with Mr. Chris Wheeler, the head coach of the Chatsworth Vacation Bible School. Glad to have you here, Mr. Wheeler.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now, I understand that you were in charge of the sports and athletic activity called Play-by-Play. Can you tell us about some of the games that you played?
Well, sure. We played games like the Adam and Eve obstacle course. We had Follow in the Footprints. There was also strike-free baseball, and then there were 10, just to name a few.
I see. They sound like fun. Now, what was the purpose of these games? I mean, were you there just to have fun with the kids?
It was designed to hopefully open up some communication between God and the kids and help their relationship to grow.
I see. You mean the games helped the kids to learn how God communicates with us. Is that right?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I was particularly interested in one of those games called a strike-free baseball. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, we had a kid write a commandment on a piece of paper. Then they hand it off to a teammate who tries to make it into the goal. If they don't make it into the goal, they have a teammate who tosses it back to them. And I think that shows us that God's rules are fair and that we can never strike out with His commandments.
That's a very interesting. I can certainly see how that can teach the kids how God communicates with us. Well, I tell you, our time is up. It's been a great pleasure having you here, Mr. Chris Wheeler.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so this is Dave Swirsky signing off for Sports Watch. Back to you, Wally.
Thanks for that report, Dave.
One of the most popular stations during the week was Builder Square. We turn now to the host of Built on the Rock.
This is Ted the Toolmaster, host of Built on the Rock. I'm coming to you live from the Chatsworth Vacation Bible School. I have with me here Miss Misty Wheeler, who is the craft director for the Builder Square portion of the program. Thank you for being with us, Misty.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'd like to ask a question about Builder Square itself. I mean, what is the purpose of these various activities? Were you just keeping the kids occupied, or is there some kind of a message here?
No, we're not just keeping the kids occupied. There's definitely a message there. We're trying to teach the kids how God communicates with us.
Okay. I see a couple of crafts here on display. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Sure. We made this. It's a keychain. It also, some of the kids were clipping it to their belt loops and wearing them around. It may not look like it at first, but this actually spells out listen in Morse code.
Oh.
And it teaches us what to do when God calls us.
Very good, very good.
And here I have, these are to remind us about the 10 Commandments, which God wrote for us. On the inside, the kids wrote, love God, love others, which is, after all, what the 10 Commandments are about.
Wow, that is great. Listen, if you ever have a need for my help, I'd like to introduce you to my newest tool. It's called the Whirlybird. It is a 200 horsepower turbo-driven screwdriver with 3 speeds, fast, faster, and ludicrous.
Oh, wow. Thanks, but I think I've got that under control.
All right, then. Well, Misty, once again, we are so glad that you've taken time out to share a little bit with us, and thanks for being part of this program.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Wally, it's time for me to sign off, but before I do and turn it over to you, I want to remind our studio audience of my newest book. You can find it in the nearest hardware store. It is called My Love Affair with Duct Tape. Back to you, Wally.
Thanks, Ted, for that report. All week long, the kids were challenged each night to dig deep into the Bible to understand all the different ways God communicates with us. Nowhere was that more obvious than in the History Mystery segment of the program. Alistair Cook brings us a report.
Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Mystery Theatre. I'm your host, Alistair Cook. We have with us tonight two well-known sleuths. I'm referring, of course, to Dudley Drake and Frankie Fumblewink. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Could someone turn on the lights, please?
Fumblewink, you always forget. Sunglasses.
Oh, thank you so much. Good evening.
Now, I understand that you two are play a major part in the History Mystery segment of the Chatsworth Vacation Bible School.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
I wonder if you could elaborate on your corresponding roles at History Mystery.
Well, you see, I, Frankie, short for Francesca, problem-solving, brainstorm, and...
Well, I actually do the research by looking in the Bible for the answers.
I see. I think our audience would appreciate knowing a little more about how you work together as a team.
We don't.
We do. I resent that. I brainstorm.
And I go to the Bible to find the real answers.
And many times we have to brainstorm to figure out how the answers fit together. And I have at least solved one mystery.
But we actually find the answers from the Bible.
And we do, and it's wonderful.
I see. Well, perhaps you can share with us how you solved one of the mysteries this week. I'm thinking perhaps of the tall pillar of fire.
Ah, that was a good one.
Especially good. You see, every day we receive a box marked clues, and the most important thing is to be able to get the clues open, and it's very difficult.
Fumblewink, careful! You always always drop the box.
Here, and we don't have a volunteer to open it for us like we always do. How?
Maybe this kind gentleman will open it for us. Will you do that? Will you help us out?
Well, this is highly unusual.
Oh, please.
I suppose I can try it.
Thank you. See if you're as smart as a 5-year-old. Oh, what's in it? What's in it?
It's empty.
It's empty.
It's because
we solved the mystery.
mystery.
You see, originally this box had in it a cotton ball, soft and fluffy.
And a matchstick.
And I, of course, brainstormed to figure out what the cotton ball...
Well, I actually looked in the Bible and found out the real meaning of this clue.
Which was?
You see, long, long ago, God appeared to the children of Israel in a pillar of cloud.
Oh, yes, and a pillar of fire.
That's right. And through this pillar of cloud and fire, God led the children of Israel where He wanted them to go.
The cloud by day.
And the pillar of fire by night.
And that was the solution to the mystery.
Delightful, delightful. We all love a good mystery, don't we?
Oh, we do.
Yes. However, the thought occurs to me that God perhaps does not want to keep mysterious the way He communicates with us. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I agree.
And that is why we're here, to solve the mysteries.
The mysteries.
Well, thank you for joining us once again tonight.
Thank you.
This is Alistair Cook. Good night and good cheer.